All right, let's do this one last time. My name is Peter Parker.
Hello everyone, my name is Oni, and welcome to the final video I'm ever making about this topic, I think. Probably, I don't know. So, I remember in the last video when I talked about the situation with bricks and minifigs, I said that I was going to make a video every month, and I forgot to do it last month. I got really busy, and I kept getting distracted. So I forgot to do this last month. I also got really, lost, because the situation just kept evolving. But I think we're at the end now. At least in terms of the Lego part. The legal stuff I still think might take a while. But let's talk about how it ended, because Bricks and Minifigs just made a response, I think today. At the time of recording, I'm recording this at 10:30 at night, but it came out August 19th at 26. And why don't we just discuss this, because the situation may be over, but I still want to shoot my final spitballs before this is done. So, it says joint statement from BAM Franchising and the Mansell family. Also, if you hear noise in the background, I'm fidgeting with stuff. I have a couple Transformer toys nearby, and right now I'm currently fidgeting with Laval's Speedor. I have the ripcord, and I'm just doing that. So I fidget when I make videos. You probably hear a lot in the background of my other videos. BAM Franchising Inc., Eamon and Matt McNeff, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, Brandon Best, and the Mansell family are pleased to announce they have reached a comprehensive and amicable resolution of a private civil dispute relating to the Mansell family's LEGO Star Wars collection. The collection was originally consigned to a former operator of the Bricks and Minifigs Salem Kaiser, Oregon store. This settlement agreement is a compromise of disputed claims and is not an admission of liability, wrongdoing, or unlawful conduct by BAM, the Mansells, or any other released party. Period. Pause. We have to have words here. No. You guys absolutely did illegal shit. 100%. It's documented. Falsifying police reports. Falsely calling the police. Threatening them. Stealing Legos. Threatening to shoot them while you're on the... shoot people transferring your property on the police even though you know that they're not a threat. All of this. All of those are crimes. You did crimes, Brandon. The people of BAM did crimes. And wrongdoing, you did wrongdoing. 100%. You guys had the Lego. You guys sold the Lego without paying Brian's family. Or not, yeah, Brian. The Mansells. You guys consistently lied about them, lied about Ben, caused legal problems for Ben, almost cost him his freedom. For what? To ruin your reputation? And now you're trying to say it's not an admission of liability, wrongdoing, or unlawful conduct by BAM, the Mansells, or any other party? The McNeffs are the party. Eamon, Matt, Josh, and Brandon did everything wrong. So the thing, this is just ignoring. This is ignoring everything that happened. And they're trying to be like, we didn't do anything wrong, guys, but we reached an agreement because we had a disagreement. We're not children. Most of us are adults that know what's going on. We're not children. We understand why the divorce happened. It's because you suck. Bam. But anyway, we're gonna proceed. The Mansells confirmed that they have been compensated by BAM for the losses associated with their consignment arrangement, and thus are releasing their legal claims against BAM, its leadership, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, Brandon Best, or any current Bricks and Minifigs franchisee. BAM, the McNeffs, Baker Salem. Apparently Baker Salem is a part of this. Josh Johnson and Brandon Best likewise will dismiss their lawsuit against Brian Mansell. So you know what? They're not suing Brian anymore, which is a win. They said nothing about Ben, who they have wronged just as much. But fine, you're not even going to talk about Ben because they feared his name like the Wizarding World fears Voldemort because they're so scared of this guy. because he has so much documentation about how wrong they are. But fine, we'll do it. Through the exchange of records and information during the legal and mediation process, which, you know, they could have had at any point before this process if they had talked to Ben and talked to Brian, but they just pretty much told them to go fuck themselves. Well, fine. The parties developed a more complete understanding of what had occurred. The underlying dispute arose from a consignment contract between Mansell family and the Salem Kaiser Oregon store. Bam, Baker, Salem, Josh, Johnson, and Brian Best were not parties to it, but they were aware of it. But regardless, like, they were made well aware, and they just chose to ignore it and pretend like it didn't exist, and then started threatening people once it was brought to their attention. But whatever. We're not parties to it, even though it said they were gonna take on all like of that for the store. But no, that doesn't matter. Fucking joke, man. The Mansell's loss arose in part from the sale, accounting, storage, and disposition of inventory by the former operator of the store. And they are not saying anything about what Brandon Best and Josh Johnson did after. None about what the fucking McNeffs did. None of it. They are not mentioning anything. It's what pisses me off. Is they talk shit about the last owners, right? Which there could have been something wrong with them. But whenever they talk about it, they're very open to admitting that they may have made mistakes while handling things, and have been open to try to fix them, or they have shut them down. They have lied about everything. They're not even admitting that they did anything wrong. They refuse to say it. Their accountability isn't here. But whatever. As part of the settlement, Brian Mansell has assigned to BAM his claims. Under the original consignment contract, BAM may elect to pursue these claims against those responsible. Mansells have agreed to provide relevant records in support of BAM's claims. The parties believe that this places responsibility for remedying any remaining faults with the appropriate parties. BAM recognizes that the Mansell family has experienced a genuine loss, prolonged uncertainty, and considerable frustration after the original contract was not properly administered by the former operator of the store, and during the transition from the former operator to replacement franchisees, BAM regrets that it did not more quickly access information necessary to understand and resolve the matter. BAM has issued an unqualified apology to the Mansell family for the losses and pain suffered for the events surrounding the dispute, which they had all the information. They had all the POS records, which POS, for those who don't know, point of sale. I'm not calling them a piece of shit. They are a piece of shit, but that's not what I'm saying right now. Right? They had all those records. They knew about the consignment. They knew all the information. This wouldn't have been a problem if they weren't such dicks about it. If they weren't being a hard ass about it, it would have been there. Now they're agreeing with the fact that this existed. They argue that it didn't exist. They couldn't do that, but they're not saying anything here about that. Their story is constantly changing. So they're not taking any responsibility. There's no responsibility taken here except for, there's some stuff that happened from the old owners. And it's like, no, everything went wrong when you guys took it over. The parties recognize that many Bricks and Minifigs franchisees and employees had no involvement with events surrounding the dispute, and hope that this resolution brings closure to everyone affected, and all may return to their normal business activities and personal lives. And no, this is an awful statement. All the statements have sucked, and every time I go to try to look at them, and I've gone to try to talk about them a few times, and then they just fucking new shit keeps happening. This story evolves so fast. I'm so glad that's kind of done. I hope nothing happens to Ben, because Ben didn't do anything really. But this is just such a bull response. It's pretty much saying, hey, we didn't do anything, but we settled it. But we're not gonna say that we did anything. No wrongdoing. It's not an admission. But if you didn't do anything wrong, you wouldn't have to pay the Mansells. You know what I mean? If you didn't do anything to have to repay them, you wouldn't be repaying them. But clearly you did something. all of you guys suck. I better never see any of you guys in the LEGO community again. Because you guys are awful. But don't worry. They left their comments on. But oh boy, are we going to be looking at some comments. Because it was so funny looking at some of these. These are just like the first like 3 comments I saw. 3 or 4. How many this week? Let me count. 5 there are 5 comments. The first 5 comments, I just want to see how people were responding. The damage has been done to the brand. Funny how you came to a mutual agreement when you guys felt so right you wanted to get sued. Oh well. And this is what Bricks and Minifigs had to say. There's certainly been one of the most difficult chapters in our company's history. We know trust was impacted and we don't expect to be restored with one statement, which is why we focused on making real changes and demonstrating them through the actions moving forward. You wouldn't even take accountability. You wouldn't even take accountability in the statement. One statement. You know what would really help this statement? It's not that it'll never be one statement after this stunt you pulled. What would really help your position is if you took accountability in your statement. We made mistakes, but we will work to make sure that they are better. But no, you basically were like, oh, you know, was all a mission of wrongdoing. Clearly. Because again, if it wasn't a mission of wrongdoing, this would not be a difficult chapter in your company's history, because you would have the evidence to prove that you did nothing wrong. But you kept lying. Wait, we're still blaming the previous BAM store owner and not taking responsibility for everyone else on the BAM staff. The leadership of Bricks and Minifigs is taking responsibility by acknowledging we could have done better, which is not said in the statement at all. And could have done better. What do you mean could have done better? You did everything so horribly, it became mainstream media news. And you have the gall to act like you're taking responsibility when you can't even say what you did wrong. You can't say that you kept lying about them. You defamed them. You can't say anything. Defamed the family that you guys screwed. But no, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us we're wrong. Like, the accountability isn't here. Implementing meaningful changes and committing to stronger processes moving forward, we know trust is earned, which is exactly what we're working to do. What changes? What changes? The fact that Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson aren't here anymore? The big issues are also Eamon and Matt. And not to mention, this whole story, we have still yet to have gotten justice from the police officers who all need to be fired. That one operator who was like trying to get Ben arrested because she just felt like it. And apparently those were different cities. So again, I have to ask, is all of Utah corrupt? Because they're either incompetent, corrupt, or stupid. Right? And God help us if it's all of them. Like, I don't get how the police just kept going with them and they keep lying. Provably wrong. But whatever. And don't worry. There are more comments. We have come to a mutual agreement, but that doesn't mean we're admitting fault. The leadership of Bricks and Minifigs is taking responsibility by acknowledging where we could have done better. So yeah, it's basically a copy and paste response. Which is my point exactly. We came to a mutual agreement, but that doesn't mean we're admitting fault. Clearly, you did something wrong if you have to reach an agreement. I read the message and thought, oh geez, this won't be good. And then went to the comments, only to find the account replying to everyone was just making it worse. Sorry you feel this way, which is such a manipulative response. That's a gaslighting ass response. I'm sorry you feel this way. Guys, I know, I'm a very small creator, right? So the people that are watching this are probably like 3 people, right? Just 3 people who are watching this. If you are ever talking with someone and they say, I'm sorry you feel this way, leave the conversation. They're not apologizing to you. They're gaslighting you. They're manipulating you with that one. I'm sorry you feel this way is pretty much saying, I'm sorry you suck because I did nothing wrong, but you think I did something wrong. I'm sorry you feel that way is a manipulative ass response. A mutual resolution was reached with the family, and we are focused on moving forward with full transparency. Like, that's the manipulative Ash response. Then this one, Bricks and Minifigs. There was no U-Haul, suspiciously shaped U-Haul on security cams. And then this is saying the leadership of Bricks and Minifigs taking responsibility, blah blah blah. That's all they had to do. That's all they have. That's all they have. That's all they have. I'm not joking. That's like their basic response, and then the only other response is the same copy and pasted thing like twice. Then the leadership. Then it was the fucking This has been certainly the most difficult chapter. Then it's gaslighting. Sorry you feel this way. I fucking can't. I cannot. This is pathetic behavior from a company. But with that being said, this might even be one of my longer videos about this topic, but hopefully my last. Again, the reason I started covering this topic was because I wanted to... Any eyes and ears that hear about this is a good thing. To get this out there, to let people know what's going on with this company. Don't shop at Bricks and Minifigs. They clearly do not care. They are gaslighting people in the fucking comments. Don't shop there. Don't support Bricks and Minifigs. Everyone higher up there sucks. I know Josh Johnson and Brandon Best are gone now from the company. And honestly, I hope they don't find good work anywhere else. They suck. They have sucked at what they did. Awful human beings all the way around. Degenerate scum. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this whole situation. Do you think that this was a justified end? I don't. I think that they need to say something about Ben and like releasing any charges against him, which they conveniently left out, but I'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And hopefully you don't get stolen from Bricks and Minifigs. And goodbye for now.